I was really hoping to put up another flying video today. I haven't done much in the past few weeks. I've been away for work. Last night was race night, first tiny whoop race night for CMRC, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll be able to put some race footage up. But instead I broke my quad, so here we are doing some repairs. I cut 2 wires out of the 3 on here. I tried to repair it last night at the event, but my eyesight's too bad. Oh well, my eyesight's not that bad, but I'm old. I can't see those tiny little pads as well anymore, and I didn't want to risk shorting anything out. So I saved the repair for home, where I have, this is showing that, hey, repairs happen, and if you're going to learn to fly drones, you also have to learn to fix drones. So really handy thing to have around your workbench or in your go bag or whatever you're taking is just some blue tack, big blob of blue tack, because when it comes to little things like this, blob there, stick it in, that's now held firmly, and I can solder that without it going anywhere. A lot of people get really worked up about the right and wrong ways to solder. Look, I have in the past been an electronics technician, not so much these days, and I've actually done high reliability soldering courses and all that sort of jazz. This isn't carrying passengers, it's not going to this International Space Station. It doesn't matter if your soldering is not perfect. If it holds and it doesn't short, you're good to go. I'm just going to take this wire off and replace all 3, I think, because this is a really long tail here and it's kind of loose as well, so I'm just going to take that off. There we go. I'm going to keep that as a reference for length, although I am going to make them a bit longer. These motors I've got came with extra lengths of wire, so I'm just going to use them. They're pre-tinned, I can see that. I'm probably just going to measure up. Yeah, that looks pretty good lengthwise, although I did trim one of them already last night when I was trying, so yeah, these are a bit longer. I'm just going to very carefully trim the end of these. Okay, 3 trimmed wires. Now the way I like to do things, there's already plenty of solder on these pads. I don't need to worry about more solder, but if you're not putting new solder in, you really need flux. I've heard people say, oh, you don't need flux. Look, this tube was under 20 bucks and I've had it for about 18 months and they're still only halfway through it. This stuff lasts for ages. Just stick it on there. And it just helps to re-wet the joint. Helps keep things fresh. Now we're just going to hold this in place, reheat it. We're going to see some smoke from the flux. People say, oh, flux can corrode your board and it needs to be cleaned off. And look, when this was sold as flux that doesn't need to be cleaned off, but honestly, even if it is corrosive and ruins your board in time, is it going to ruin your board quicker than you're going to crash it and break it yourself? I know for me that answer is no, so it really doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to get the flux on there and just have nicer joints. It's moving around on me a bit here. There we go, that's what I want. 1, 2. This isn't actually my favourite pair of tweezers. Maybe I should have got my other tweezers. That one's not great. I'm going to redo that one. In fact, none of them are really great. But again, not going to the space station, right? As long as it holds. And I'm going to be putting heat shrink over this, which will give it a little more. This keeps rotating. More blue tack, that's the answer to that, isn't it? Blue tack here holding that so it doesn't move, sort of. Okay, that's right, so that bit's the move, it's moving, idiot. There we go, that'll hold it. Now we're good. Blue tack's also really good for cleaning your motors, because obviously there's magnets in there, and if your dust and dirt and crap is in there is a little bit magnetic, it'll just stick to it. Blue tack, just push it around the magnets and stuff and it'll pull all the crap out. Look, I think that's I'm a little concerned about this one. Oh, my soldering's gotten so bad these days. You know what, give it a light tug, that holds. It's fine, that'll do us. Now I need to find a little bit of heat shrink. I should have pre-prepared that. Where did I put it? Oh, hey look, it's in the drawer where it belongs. There's a surprise. Does that look about the right size? Yeah, I reckon that's good. Cut a little bit of that. Put it over there. Some people on tiny whoops, they're really looking to save weight and will do anything they can to reduce weight, including less heat shrink and the like. I just don't care that much. If you're concerned, use a slightly smaller piece. Alright. I'm going to take the prop off for the next bit. Maybe. Come on. There we go. I mean, if you've got a hot air gun, that's definitely the best way to heat shrink up and melt heat shrink it, whatever. But this works, right? Barbecue lighter, done. Ow. Who would have thought that'd get hot, right? Yeah, I know. No one accused me of being smart. Alright, now I'm going to remount this into the frame. I'm going to let it cool down a bit first. That's actually hotter than I expected. So I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to go and get a drink while that happens and come back afterwards. Okay, so the motor's definitely cooled down now. That's because I went off to grab a drink and came back and my camera had overheated. So I just went inside for a bit, took the camera into the air conditioning. It's a 40-degree day today. It is bloody horrible and I'm here in my garage doing this stuff just because I want to get it fixed. I want to get it fixed this weekend so I can get flying again. Yeah, so I'm tolerating the heat, but the camera didn't like the heat, so I just went and had a change of pace in the air conditioning for a bit. I'm just going to screw this motor back on. So the frame is reasonably soft plastic, so don't go screwing these in too tight or you're just going to pull the screw right through the plastic and ruin it. That is plenty tight enough. Now you can see these wires are way too long. However, you don't want them too short either, or you wind up chopping them more often. These are These ones here, oh, actually, you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, that's a nick in that wire. That looks like that one might need replacing soon as well. I wonder if I can just get away with a bit of tape or something around there. We'll see. I'm probably just going to ignore that for now. Here's my reference bit of wire that I kept. Yeah, I'm going to make them just slightly longer than that. Should I keep them full length? No, I definitely don't need them full length. That's way too long. So I'm just going to trim the ends off. It looks like I already trimmed the end of that one. Maybe. Just a little bit. Now I need to strip the ends. Maybe a little more on that one. Yeah, that looks alright. Alright, now we're going to thin the wires. Again, I just use a heap of flux. I like my flux. I will always put flux on them. You could twist the ends as well, but honestly for a whoop, for a little, like I don't see the need for these little ones. Now I'm also going to mention you can get lead-free solder. It's just a nightmare to work with. The temperature needs to be more precise. It's really finicky. It's hard to get, it's just much easier to use leaded solder. I think, I can't remember what ratio mine is. There's a big spool here with thick stuff. This is 60-40. I feel like this is 63-37, but I don't remember. The big spool's around somewhere, but I've just got a little bit of left over at the moment. Okay, I'm going to trim these down a bit because they're currently a little long. Always make sure you know where the offcuts are going, because you don't want the offcuts to fall in there and wind up shorting something out. You watch Famous Last Words, that's going to happen now, isn't it? We'll be right. Alright, we're going to pull out our blob of blue tack again. Where did I put my blob of blue tack? God damn it. Oh, there it is. Stick this down in there. Flux on the pads. Tweezers. Good clean at the tip. Pre-tin the tip lightly. Doesn't need much, just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now, try and get them back in the same order. I really do have these tweezers. I'm going to get my other tweezers out. So, another tip for new players, watch where the rest of your soldering iron is. Like, you're watching the point, but all this is hot as well, and it will melt holes in it. If you're resting it too flat, you'll melt holes in the rest of your frame. Ask me how I know. Honestly, has anyone who's soldered a whoop not done that at some point in their time? Okay, one. too. That one's not pretty, but it'll work. That was terrible. Let's try that again. Yeah, that'll work. That one's got a bit too much solder on it. That one maybe doesn't have enough, but on a whole, it'll be fine. So I also have a handy can of circuit board cleaner. Look, this is optional. Oh, I was talking about melting the frame. I don't know if you can see that, but in here that's a little melt there where that's been hit while I've obviously been soldering those wires. Circuit board cleaner. There we go. Fine. That's probably not great for the blue tack in terms of reusability, but it'll be okay. And newly done joints. Next step is to see how it flies. I am going to say one thing I've learned from this is don't be too proud to fly older drones that you've got as well. So I had this one at race day. This is a build that I made from parts that I won at Tiny Whoop Nats last year. Prior to that, I was running a Tiny Hawk. It's custom done. This was given to me very generously by a Johnny G machine. It has a custom tune on it. It's got an ELRS receiver. It has soldered motor wires instead of plugs, so it's a slightly modified, slightly hotted up Tiny Hawk. But Tiny Hawks are a bit heavier, a bit slower. They're very durable. They'll take a beating, but come racing, they don't turtle well, importantly. So if you're prone to crashing, yeah, flightless avian for a reason, you're going to have a hard time turtling with something like this, which if it's just our local club meet, that's okay. There's flippers on track and people will flip you for you, but it's always better not to rely on that. But importantly, if like I built my new one and I thought, oh, I don't need to run the Tiny Hawk anymore, and I haven't flown it since I built the new one, and if I just had it with me last night, I could have changed over to this and just kept flying it. It wouldn't have been the fastest, but it would have worked. Yeah, keep flying your old quads, and you're probably going to see more footage from the Tiny Hawk in the future, because I'm going to try and get out and fly it more and just make sure that I'm well versed with it. I have no idea what all this red crap in the props is. I don't know. Is it sewing thread? Have I landed in the wife's sewing machine stuff somewhere? I don't know. I'm going to have to clean all that out. Don't be afraid to fly older stuff, just so you still keep your thumbs in tune with it and you still know it works. And I could have been flying last night if I had been smart and taken this along with me. Yeah. Alright, all I'm really going to do now is a test hover, make sure that the motor directions are spinning right and it pops up into the air. I don't care about video or anything right now. That was working last night. Oh, something's rubbing. Hear that noise? That's not cool. What's rubbing? What is rubbing? Is it hitting? Okay, so it's this one, just blew into the props, and this one made the noise. Where's the noise coming from? Okay, importantly, it's not coming from hitting motor wires. What's it hitting? I don't know. Future troubleshooting. Look, it hovers. That's the main thing. Motor's fixed. Just I've got to work out what's rubbing on that other one. Yeah, great. Happy with that for now.